And we are rolling on part 2 of our film speeches on August 31st, where it's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. The sunshine is shining, yes. Michelle, my belle. Wow. Great improvement over last time. And very good. Let me help you with some things, though, that will make it even better. This thing keeps turning on and off on its own. Nice. 2 down and 1 to go. Okay, good. Practice saying the name of the speech with me, okay? Say the name of the speech.
The name of the speech?
The name of the film.
Your name.
Your.
Name.
Your.
Your
name.
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 Good, better. Your name. Your name.
Your name.
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 Okay, better, yeah. Okay. So you make it real clear so the audience knows what it is. Your introduction was good. You told us, you gave us a little sense of warming up to you and telling us how you felt about films. I was chuckling because when we talked during office hours, you were leaving out the word how you feel, and you put it in more times this time. And we talked about the idea that in some cultures that feeling, the word I feel mad, I feel this way, isn't always so commonly used as a normal sentence in the culture, and so you felt a little reluctant to say it. Now, if I can resurrect this, and I'm not sure I can, I'll try tonight, you will see that you, about 70% of the time you put feel in, but some of the times you still left it out, so you said it made me, okay? So keep that in.
Made me fail.
Made me feel. Feel, yeah, good. Loved your quote from Empire. Just remember to sell it, as I explained to the last student, Jessica, that you need to say the word you will relate to the audience, will relate to themes in the audience. So, your best feeling, I thought, and your strongest was your first one, where you said you felt jealous. And you gave us a short plot summary. And then you told us about, and by the way, thank you for your Chicago citation that was properly done on the first page. You told us about your mother that pushed you to do everything and didn't give you a moment of free time as other children have to just daydream and to play, and children need that, in my opinion. And it made you feel sad and jealous, and I liked that a lot. So I thought I could sense you really were expressing something very important to you about that, and I thought that took courage to talk about that you noticed that about your life, and you noticed that was something that was a little bit missing, and that was good. Yeah. So that was excellent. Now, on the second one, you said fragile. You said I felt fragile, okay? And what you lost sight of when fragile means fleeting, just It's very delicate. Like a very delicate orchid. You know, touch it, goes away, it wilts. You said fragile, and you told us about a very sad story about your teacher that had mitochondrial infection, right?
I might forget to connect it with yeah.
He was here a second and then gone.
Yeah,
How fragile.
Yeah. I forget to point out that life is very delicate.
Right, and you forgot to go back to that idea that life is very delicate and fragile.
I really thought about it, but I just forgot because maybe
That's
I'm
okay.
too nervous on the stage.
That's right. You're learning. We're all learning. But just remember, as you saw Jessica too, remember what emotion, what you're supposed to be doing is communicating emotion and return to it at the end. On the third one, you did it properly with sad. Talked about your grandfather, who you were close to, who's 84 and very good and very bright, and yet you learned he has Alzheimer's, and it makes you sad because you don't know if he has 2 years or 5 years, and you know it's not going to be a very happy ending, but you hope to spend as much time as you can with him. And you want to say, and that's why I felt so sad. Let me hear you say, I feel so sad. Let me hear you say it.
So that's why I felt so sad.
I feel so sad.
I feel so sad.
Yeah, and really feel it. Yeah. Your summary was good. As I said before, you kind of slurred the name of your movie in the conclusion, and your tieback was good. Your kanais to be confident, yes, to be relaxed, and make a good connection with your audience. One thing that was pointed out by your peers is, remember, you go 3, 5, and you want to end up back in the power center of the room for your climax. You ended up over there. Okay. The other thing you want to avoid, if you can, and I marked this on the first page, Michelle, was that when you go over there now, you don't stay in the power stance. Do what you normally do, the way you stand in real life when you're talking to a girlfriend. No, you cross your foot around your other foot. Yeah. No, you put the other one in front of the other one. No, anyway. Yeah. Yeah, and you don't want to do that. You want to come there and jump into the power stance there, too, and keep the power stance when you move. Otherwise, very good job, and I'm sorry about the screw up with the white camera. Thank you very much. 4:45, okay.
Professor has one question about Michelle's speech.
Yes, what about Michelle's speech? Yeah. 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Faye.
Hi, Faye.
I know it's a good way to ask the audience at the beginning of the speech. It's really a good way to connect with the audience. But need we give time to wait the answer of audience or just ask for ask?
Yeah. I think what you ask is, when you use a rhetorical question, do you wait a pause for 1001, 1002, or 1003 to give them a moment to think about it? You should, and it's a good idea to do that, yes. You should pause a little when you ask a rhetorical question.
If there's no answer, we just can.
No, don't expect them to answer. They're not going to raise their hand. Just say, have you ever been lonely? Have you ever been blue? 2002.
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered why? 2001. Don't expect them to yell out from the audience, but just give a little pause so they have a moment to at least think about it. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Next, please. Thank you for volunteering. Very good, yes, very good. Oh, can you take, by the way, I meant to tell, can you move that computer to the, push it straight ahead? Yeah, it's showing up on the Push it all the way to the wall, yeah. Move that evil podium, yeah. Thank you. Very good. That's enough, yeah. Good, thank you. Okay. Judy, yeah, take a deep breath. Oh! I sometimes tell people, you know, it's a I learned in India. Take a deep breath. Then you go, and you let out all, it's called the ha-ha breath, and you let out all the air and all your tension from the bottom of your stomach. Try that with me now. Raise your hands all the way up and then go, no, you're not getting into it at all. Right? You're too self-conscious, huh? Okay, Judy. All right, well, we'll have to send you to India for a little training. Okay. All right, Judy stands before us, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. You texting over there? That's very bad. Put that evil phone away. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech. Yes.
Hi everyone, Judy.
Hi, Judy.
I forgot my speech. Wait.
It's easy to look back and see.
Yes. It's easy to look back and see it. It is easy to look back and get them realized. But people always don't look beneath the surface until it's too late. Today I'd like to share a film that really moved me, Flipped. It is also where the quote that I said earlier is from. The movie really moved me by making me feel angry, make me sad, and made me feel guilty. The movie deals with a lot of themes that I believe many of you may be interested in. Although a Hollywood reporter, Kirk, has said that the movie portrays a 6-year journey of the relationship, or like a love story between the neighborhood youngsters, but I disagree with that. I believe it's more of showing the role of family and human nature.
Good.
The first way the movie moved me was it made me feel angry. The incident in the movie that made me feel so was when Bryce's father looked down at Julie only because she doesn't clean her yard. And what actually happened to Julie was her father spent all his money to take care of his mentally ill brother. It reminded me of an incident that my mom was misunderstood by her colleagues. She always excused herself from work every Friday, and all her colleagues are talking behind her, saying like she's just being lazy, she doesn't want to work. But what actually happened to my mom is she needs to fly back from Hong Kong, where I'm from, to Beijing every weekend to take care of my grandma, who has the amyotrophic lateral sclerosis disease. If you guys know, the ALS ice bucket challenge is what that disease is like. So
Lou Gehrig disease.
Yes. So my grandma can't move nor talk, and she needs to breathe within the breathing machine. So she was in a really severe situation, so my mom has to fly back every weekend to take care of her, which made a lot of her colleagues talking behind her, and that made me really angry what happened to her. Because people always judge others based on simple facts that they see. They don't look behind the surface. And the second way the movie moved me was it made me feel sad. The incident happened was when Bryce's grandpa lost his grandma. It reminded me of a time when I first lost someone that in my family. It's my grandma on my father's side passed away. It's my first time dealing with people passing away, and my grandma was a doctor when she was alive, so I believe she could take good care of herself. So I never thought she would just pass away so suddenly. And I didn't know what to do, just like the protagonist. Like, the grandpa stares at the window all the time, and I stare at the window all the time as well. I don't know what to do, and like, yeah, I cried at night, and that is the way I responded to the passing of someone in my family. And when this happened, it made me feel sad, and I do not know how to respond.
Good.
The last way the movie moved me was it made me feel guilty. The incident in the movie is like when Bryce doesn't cherish what Julie gave to him. It reminded me of a time that I didn't cherish what my family gave to me. When my grandma was still alive, she used to call me like once a few months, and there was a time that I started blaming her for not coming to visit me, because Because she always visits me like once a year or something, but there's like 2 years that she never visits and she only calls. And I think she no longer cares about me. I don't know what I was thinking about that time, and later I noticed she was dealing with, she has really bad health conditions so she can't visit. And she even asked someone else to send me like birthday present on my birthday, and no, all of these like later, after she passed away, and I felt really guilty for not understanding the love and care she gave to me when she was alive. And that what happened made me really guilty. In summary, I have shown you 3 ways that a movie really moved me. It made me angry, it made me sad, and it made me feel guilty. And there's no doubt in this room that the movie really moved me. And it is really easy for people to look back in time and see what you have done wrong. It's also easy for people to just judge other people based on what you see, and like, just like my mom's colleague, they simply judge her by not coming to work, but they never thought of the actual reason that she didn't come. Yeah, and people, sometimes what you see may only be the tip of the iceberg, and so try not to judge others and like look beneath the surface not until it's too late. And last and more importantly, from today and every day thereafter, don't let the busy world keep you from showing how much you love and appreciate your family. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 453? 450. Okay. Hi, Allie. What's your name?
Natalie.
Oh, Natalie. Hi, Natalie. Natalie Woods. Okay, good.
I really enjoyed your speech. I thought it was very personal. I love the stories that you had to say with it, and I really like that you followed the format of the outline. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Improvement, quickly.
I'm going to talk about it.
What's your name?
I'm Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Just the explain children like the Natalie said. I really like your stories. But for your speech, maybe you can put more emphasis or something else. Make your speech more passionate or just like that, and maybe it can build up the more intensive connection with the audience. Thank you.
Yeah. Very insightful comment, Michelle. Thank you. I'll come to that. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like what Steve Jobs said too in our first meeting, and it's easy to give advice, and it's easy to just judge people and make snap judgments. It's easy to gossip and to do nasty things and talk about people behind their back. You know, I try not to do it. I don't listen to it, but you know, people do it. You know, it's part of the human condition. But it did get our attention. You quoted from keep in the power stance, keep your arms in the power stance, feet wider than your shoulders. Yeah, you didn't have us standing that way. Yeah. You did quote from the movie, so that was pretty good. Can you put your other hair behind your ear? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, yeah. So you said your thesis was angry, sad, and guilty, and the movie was flipped. You said themes that we'll all be interested in, and I like the way you disagreed with the reviewer, and you had a Chicago-style footnote, which was good. You first talked about anger, and then you told us about your mother going from Hong Kong to Beijing. Horrible city, that Beijing, I'll tell you that. I've never lived there. What?
Yeah.
Can't breathe.
Yeah.
You know, it's awful. Plus, you know, there's governments everywhere there. If I had to live in China, I'd live in Shanghai myself. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, well, and then you told us about your grandmother having Lou Gehrig's disease and your mother taking care of her. But the most important thing was you were reliving and feeling. I call it felt sensing your anger. You even do more of that. And you need to remember to come back and say, and I felt the anger, and that's why I felt so angry. And if you can have that good transition between, but besides anger, I also felt sad. It's a good little smooth way to move on and to keep the narrative, help us follow you. On your, second movie about sadness, you talked about the when your grandmother passed away, and it was a good story, and I liked it very much. Again, an internal transition would have been helpful, and I think it's the old expression: you don't know what you've got till it's gone, and it's important to, especially with family, to not to tell them every day that you love them, and to not take them for granted that they will be there tomorrow, because they might not be. I think I've shared with this class. If I haven't, I'll tell you. I was in a fight with my father over a stupid thing. I hadn't talked to him for 6 months, and then I was with the debate team in New York City, and my wife called me and said, your father just had a heart attack and died. I went, oh, wow. And I'll tell you, I didn't have a chance to ever thank him for all the stuff he did for me and all the wonderful things he helped me with my education, etc. And you can't do it to a tombstone, which I've tried to do. It's not the same thing, and I felt a great guilt in holding that kind of grudge, and I have a guilt about that, and a sadness in me that that's happened to me, So I know what you're feeling and think about, and I urge people not to carry grudges and to remember, as Michelle pointed out too, life is fragile. You all think you're living to be 95, and God, I hope you do, but some of us are going to be gone tomorrow. Sadly, Okay, so the summary was good, the conclusion was good, and the topic was good. Let me talk about one last thing. Two more things, really. When you move, go and get in the power stance when you move to a new position. And the second thing is, one of the things that must be your kanai, is to yellow words and to work on an emphatic style of delivery, what Michelle was talking about a little bit. Slow down, because somehow something seems a little less emotional. I felt really sad my grandmother died, and it was really a bummer. When you said, I felt really sad. My grandmother died. And when you slow down and pause over certain parts of it, you can let it sink in. See, and you really do need to slow down. Even though you went 450, you need to edit, and then slow down, and you'll be fine. Your kanais, better introduction and tie back. Yeah, it was good. To walk 3 times with the 5 steps. More compelling stories to establish emotional connection with the audience. How did your kanais go?
I think at least I walked. I didn't do the walking class.
The what?
I didn't do the walking class.
Practice speaking more clearly and slowly. I didn't do the walk every time, right? Yeah. Has anyone ever told you speak kind of quickly? No? Not really. Okay, good. Well, more power to you then. Well, for speech purposes, you move right along, and especially an international audience. Okay. Thank you very much, Judy. Okay, next. Yeah, keep it coming. Good. Fortunately, the stapler's working. Good. Should never gone down this road. Okay. Hi, Jessica. Another Jessica. Okay. Oh, you're a different height. Okay, good. Okay. Jessica stands before you in the power stance, looking around the room, saying, I respect the audience. Finding friendly eyes near the front and center, say your name, feel the love, state your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Just a spoonful of sugar can help medicine go down in the most delightful way. A lesson taught by the most perfect nanny teaches her two kids that by looking at the bright side of things, you can make any situation better.
Good. Today my thesis is I want to share with you a film.
Today I want to share with you a film that really moved me, Mary Poppins.
Made me feel guilty.
It made me feel guilty, it made me feel nostalgic, and it also made me feel thankful.
Good.
Bill Walsh from Rotten Tomatoes calls it a lavish, modern fairy tale that celebrates the amazing effects, the catchy songs, and Julie Andrews' legendary performance in its lead role. Although I agree with this, Mary Poppins is not just its songs, it is also a lesson. A lesson that by seeing the bright side of any situation, it can make things better. The first way this film moved me is that it made me feel guilty. It made me feel guilty because Mary Poppins is singing to the kids about a woman who sits in front of the cathedral, beautiful building, where she's feeding pigeons. She sells bags of pigeons to people for a tuppence, yet no one notices her. This made me feel guilty because in today's day and age, with technology or job work or school load, it can make us stressful, and we don't pay attention to anything that's more than what's at the tip of our nose. I am one of those people. I don't really get to see what's around me because I'm always focused on what I'm supposed to be doing. I can't imagine all the things I have missed throughout my life. I can't even explain or say anything that I've missed because I did not pay attention. That is why this film made me feel guilty.
Good.
Another way this film moved me is that it made me feel nostalgic. In the film, Mary Poppins and her friend Bert take the two kids up to the ceiling. And this film was made in England, 1910, where smoke just covered the entire horizon. All you see was smoke. So they took them higher to the highest point ever, where they saw this beautiful sunset. It was magical. This made me feel nostalgic because when I was 10, whenever anything went wrong, I would go up to the roof of my house and just sit. I would stare up at the sky, the moon, during any time where I was feeling down. So, at the worst of my feelings, where my world was covered with soot and smoke, I was able to see beauty. That is why this film made me feel nostalgic. The last feeling the film made me feel moved was it made me feel thankful. Mary Poppins' friend Bert is a poor man who stands out in the streets with any instrument that he can carry at the same time, playing songs for the people, making them feel better, and making them feel happy. This made me feel thankful because when I was younger, my dad struggled with financially to keep. Sorry.
To make ends meet, yeah.
Yeah, to make ends meet. And even though he worked 2 jobs, every Sunday he would go to the hospital to volunteer and sing songs to the kids who had cancer. Even though we were struggling financially, he would always see the goodness of what sharing to other people that have it much worse, making them feel better, even though we were struggling. This film made me feel thankful for having a dad like that, to show me that even though times are tough, we always have to think of other people and make them happy as well. There's no other joy in making other people feel happy. That is why this film made me feel thankful.
Good.
In summary, I have told you how this film made me feel guilty, nostalgic, and thankful. In the end, Mary Poppins is not just its catchy songs and wonderful dance numbers. It is also a lesson to show us that looking at the bright side of things can help any situation better. It's like Mary Poppins said, just a spoonful of sugar can make any situation better in the most delightful ways. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What was the time for Jessica's speech? 5:58?
4:58.
4:58, wow. Pretty close. Huh? Okay, next comment, please.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica, commenting on Jessica. Wow, that's amazing.
No, I really like that you weren't rushing through it. Like, you were able to keep people's attention because you weren't confused. You know, you weren't rushing through the whole speech. You were, like, taking it slow, I guess, like the time, but that's fine. And that you were saying how you felt even at the end, so you're able to write back, and I loved all your stories.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hi, I'm Faye.
Hi, Faye.
I think it maybe it's another style of the speech. Her speech made me feel very calm. Although I'm not sure if she is nervous, but I can't see that. So I think maybe it's another style of the speech, calm speech.
Okay, thank you, Faye. Well, Jessica, let's talk about your speech. You started with a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in the most delightful way. And you ended with that, and you tie back to that very nicely, and the idea of being positive and grateful for what you have, even in negative situations, as you explained with your father, which I thought was really excellent. Yeah. So, first off, yeah, you needed to practice the speech more, because what some people said was ponderous was just halting because you didn't know it well enough. And then if you want to slow down and be slower, but you weren't quite sure of the beginning, and that first impression is really important. I really know the beginning above all else. You want to know that darn introduction, the thesis, and preview, right? Because you don't get a second chance to make a good first impression. I'm not certain that I call Rotten Tomatoes the deep internet, but it's more like a Google search. But I like a superficial Google search. But I quibble on that. I like that you disagreed with the quote, because I agree that Mary Poppins is more than Julie Andrews and her singing and Dick Van Dyke and his cutesy performance, so that was good. On the main body, guilty. I wish you had explained a little bit more, but of what you have missed. But I did get the feeling of why you did feel guilty, so that was good. And could have had a little more feeling of the guilt by, you felt sensing it a little bit more. Okay, on nostalgic, yeah. I like the story of you going on the roof of your house as a place to escape and look at the stars and to sort things out and to find some peace and to sort out your thoughts and worries. So I was see beauty. And this reminded you of this when you saw them looking at the horizon in the movie. And so I bought into your word picture. I could see you on the roof of a house doing this. So that was good. Well done. I will remind you, just for purposes of what I've said to others, it's often good to make the narrative more apparent by saying, but besides nostalgic, the film also made me feel thankful with your voice. See? So we really know what the big points are of support. Yeah. So your best story was about your father, who, even though he was working 2 jobs, still found time to serve others. And you said you were thankful for your father that showed you by example that you will find happiness even in the darkest of times by helping others that are worse off than you are. And if we have time, I'll share with you a songwriter that gave a perfect song in the sense of our textbook sings about his father that worked in the coal mines and then got cancer and so forth. And yet he still remembered the good things, that he had a good wife and good kids, and focused on the good things every night, even though things were bad in the life. He thought of the good things, So it's good to have gratitude and to think of what you're happy about, happy for, even in the darkest of times. And I think that message came through. So that was a good story. I thought your best one. Your summary was fine, your conclusion was fine, your tie back was perfect. Let's talk about your kanai. Being able to tie back to the introduction, well, you did that, that was good. Walk the correct number of times. Emphasize the narrative with my body. Okay, how did it go? What's your self-evaluation of your kanais?
Not go the way I wanted to.
Okay, why not?
I felt like I was, ever since the first mistake in the beginning, the rest of it just got me more nervous.
Yeah.
So I was trying to remember my speech instead of actually
saying it
with my voice.
Yeah, good. Okay. Sometimes, I've had this happen with some of my student speakers too. They'll think of a great joke they're going to tell to start their speech, and no one laughs, and they go, "Oh shoot, they hate me, they didn't laugh," and their whole speech goes downhill from there. I tell them, well, try your jokes out on people beforehand, but you can't let that throw you. You just have to get back up and keep it going. And that's the key thing. That's what the champions do anyway. You just got to keep it going. So overall, besides knowing your speech, so you can take time to emphasize the narrative, it was a good job, and I at least liked 2 of the 3 of your stories. I thought they were powerful. Thank you. Okay, next.
Yay. I'm going to be perfectly honest before I start this.
Uh-oh.
You have demolished some of my speech in your... I need to clip that. Thank you.
Green meanie, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Never apologize before you start a speech. It lowers expectations, so just do it.
Well,
What you do, let me comment on what just happened with Ashley. You don't want to ever lower expectations before you speak by saying, "Oh, I've been sick all night," or "I was up with my daughter all night nursing her," or anything like that. Or anyway, lower expectations. Just man up and do it.
All right.
Just do it. And the other thing I want to say is, when I give these detailed critiques, they're not just for the speaker. It's actually too late for the speaker. They're for the people in the class to take heed and to make changes in their speech. So you would be wise to take notes that some of you have and have changed your significant statements so they relate to the audience and put in a better narrative and stuff like that. But, we'll see. That's why we'll see how much that has happened here with Ashley, who stands before you in the power stance, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. By the way, okay, let's just go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley.
Hi, Ashley.
So I'm going to ask you to not close your eyes.
Good.
Keep your eyes open, and I'm going to ask you to feel 3 feelings, and I'm being very serious about this. So please first feel the feeling of anxious. Feel that. Now I want you to feel the feeling of... What was that feeling?
Heartbroken.
Heartbroken. Feel heartbroken. Feel a time when you felt heartbroken. And finally, feel a feeling of relief. Feel relieved. And these are very serious feelings, especially when I am talking about the epic tale of the film Bridesmaids. This film could be put off as maybe just a raunchy chick flick, but I disagree. It brought up many intense emotions inside of me. It is a film about friendship, and it made me feel anxious, it made me feel heartbroken, and it made me feel relieved.
Good.
The through line of Bridesmaids is friendship. And although can be considered just a chick flick or raunchy chick flick or whatever, it is not. If friendship means anything to you, then you should see it, and I highly recommend seeing it to everybody. The late critic Roger Ebert gave a glowing review, which I couldn't agree more with, by saying, "This is a film with a heart. It restores and heals, and it also confesses secrets. And it kind of cuts to the core of what we have all felt at one point in our lives." The first feeling I want to talk about is the feeling of anxiousness. In the movie, I felt anxious when Lillian tells Annie that she is going to be her maid of honor, and she is going to have to take on the duties of being a maid of honor, and she is not equipped at all in that point in her life to take on any of those duties. I related to that feeling, and it moved me because I felt anxious when I was at work, and I had been working with the same girls for at least 7 years, and we had a new person come in. And I witnessed with my own eyes them bully her, and they were very hard on her. And I had a choice to make. I either needed to be loyal to my friends and my coworkers, as this person brought it to human resources. She was targeted and bullied, and I saw it with my own eyes. And she told human resources that the only person in the room that she trusted was me, and they came to me and wanted to know, and I had to make a decision whether to stay loyal to my friends or do the honorable thing and tell the truth about what happened. And that is how it made me feel anxious.
The second way this film moved me is that it made me feel heartbroken. It made me feel heartbroken in the scene where Lillian tells her best friend Annie that she no longer wants her to have any of the duties, and that she was going to hand over all of the maid of honor duties to her nemesis, Helen. And it broke her heart. It devastated her. And it reminded me of that when I was moving out here with my friend Amber. Amber and I decided to move, and she had promised me that she had the money. She promised me that she had her half. When we finally found a place and we were ready to make the deal, we were ready to settle on a place, she looked at me with puppy dog eyes and said, "I don't have it." And I said, "Are you kidding me? Like, I'm out here, we're here." And it was then that I realized that I'd been taken advantage of and been used by a friend that I had had for many years. And she had no intentions. She expected fully, wholeheartedly to take advantage of me. And the feeling of heartbreak poured over me like concrete as it set in as to what she did. The third and final way I felt was relief. I know that in the movie, Annie felt relief and Helen felt relief because they realized that they had a place in Lillian's heart and they accepted it and that there was room for both of them and they felt relief. I felt relief when many years ago I was hired to do a musical in Europe. I was to be a replacement for a girl who, when I got there, decided she no longer wanted to leave, but the contract was signed. She was out and I was in, and it was a soap opera. Everybody was like crying and please don't leave and please Leslie don't leave and we're gonna miss you so much, and I felt completely ostracized and I felt completely alone and I felt hated. But there was nothing I could really do short of just leaving, which I almost did, but I decided not to. She finally left. She finally left after many weeks of hanging around and making me feel like crap, and that after she left, one of the most favorited and beloved girls in the cast came up to me and she said, "I know what you've been going through. I understand. And it's going to be okay. People really do like you. I know it's been weird for you, but it's going to be okay." And that's how I felt relief. So in summary, I have told you how I have felt and how this film has moved me. It has made me feel anxious. It's made me feel heartbroken. And it's made me feel relief. And there should be no doubt that this film has moved me in that way. In conclusion, I would like to say that this is more than just a chick flick. Everybody should see it. If you've ever had a feeling in your heart about friendship, ever wanted a friend, lost a friend, needed a friend, then this film is for you. You should see it. And to bring you back to those feelings that I had you feel, the anxious, the heartbreak, and the relief, it should strike a chord in you when you see this, and I recommend it. Thank you.
Is that time's up? Is that when it bings? It's 5 minutes. Is that when the bing goes off? Okay, sorry.
I was on mine.
Okay. All right, good. I'm sorry. Okay, thank you. What was the time?
6:40.
6:40.
Right on time.
Oh my lordy lord. Okay,
I
good.
tried, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right, next person, please, quickly.
Hi,
Hey.
Hi, Lisa.
I thought you did really well with like painting a word picture and talking about how like the cement had like settled in you, or like being like the only person in the room that your coworker could trust. Like I thought that was really like effective in painting a picture for us.
What's your name?
Hi, my name is Amy.
Hi.
Your name is Amy?
Amy.
Anne. Hi, Anne.
Yeah, I enjoy your speech. Maybe like next time you take like more, you make it more concise, like so you can like you can like deliver your speech in time, like within the time, and maybe you when you say like you agree with the quote, like not raise your voice to emphasize on that.
Okay, thank you.
Ashley, as I said before in the beginning, never undercut yourself in the beginning of anything, an audition or a speech or anything, by apologizing or saying, appealing to pity or anything like that. Just do it. Just woman up, or whatever the expression is for you. Man up, or whatever I say it. Just do it, you know. Yeah. The intro, you're right. I don't like Closed Eyes. It was much too long, and so you lost some time there. I don't think it was particularly a grabber. I don't think it really got us a long way. But anyway, it was okay, but you know, it was pretty long. Your thesis statement was very good. You got us right to the bridesmaid, and it made you feel heartbroken and relieved, and anxious. So we knew what was coming, and just a little more with your voice, because you kind of, when you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you'll see that you just didn't emphasize it enough with your voice. So you do the yellowing. A little bit wordy before you got to the meat of the quote from Roger Ebert. Nice Chicago-style quote. And remember, as I've said to others, sell it. So say, it talks about friendship, and I know you all can learn some things about the friendships you're involved in from this movie. Say, sell it, because it's significant to the audience. Okay? Main body. First one that made me feel was anxious. You just said the first emotion was anxious, and you didn't put in I felt anxious, and then you finally said, well, I felt anxious, and then you gave us much too long a story, but a good story about a girl that was bullied, and she took it to human resources, as you put it, and named you as the one person you could trust. My one criticism of your story is, and you know this as you know it from doing theater, a good playwright never leaves the plot dangling. So you didn't tell us what happened.
Well,
did you have the ovaries to stand up and,
well,
for your friend,
if it's still
or
running, I can't say.
Okay, don't say. That's right. Or I can put this on,
I'd be happy to
the
tell you in
intermediate.
private, but
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
on
Okay.
YouTube,
Okay.
and,
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. And you don't have to. There's nothing writing on it. But the point I'm making, folks, seriously, is you don't want to tell a story and you don't tell the ending. I know this is a special circumstance, so that's different. But usually you want to give a conclusion. Yeah.
Okay.
On Heartbroken. Your friend Amber and you were moving from Las Wages to Los Angeles, and she screwed you. Yeah. A little bit real long. This is where a lot of your time went telling that part of the story, and but we got your emotion and how heartbroken you felt and how stunned you were at the whole thing. So that was good, but just a little long. But just do the felt sensing, and it was fine. On Relieved, interesting story about a musical in Switzerland, a soap opera, and you felt unwanted and then wanted, and the girl said, I know how you felt, but it worked out fine in the end, and that's why I felt relieved. What I didn't get from you all the way along was a strong sense of the narrative, that where we were. Besides this, it also made me feel relieved. summary was good, the conclusion was good, and then the tie back was fine. Your canais will have a strong narrative, respect the time limit, and be aware of the movement. How'd it go?
I think my movement was better. The other two, not good.
Yeah. I want to say one last thing to you that's important. I had to bring the camera way back, and I don't know why this is, but you limit your hand movement and arm movements to below your waist. You never come up here, ever. So let me see you make some movements. Just talk to me about your morning, yeah.
My morning?
Yeah, your morning. I know, but in this speech, it was all...
The morning was...
Power stance.
My morning was...
Yeah.
Short.
Short, yeah.
Because I woke up late.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Overslept. Yeah.
I overslept.
Great,
And it was a little bit on the short side.
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of coffee.
Oh, yeah. Good. Give yourself a caffeine curfew tonight. Okay, that's better. Well, when you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you'll see I had to pull back because I usually give a shot more like
I did an
this.
exercise.
Okay, good. I give a shot more like this.
And I went like that.
Okay, good. Just stop now.
Okay.
This is the shot I usually have on people, and their arms are in the picture. But I was realizing your hand gestures were completely absent from the pictures. That's why I had to.
Sounds like I just hit it out of the park on this one.
That's why I had to pull back. Great. Well, let me end on a positive note. This was a good speech, and you revealed a lot about yourself, and it was an improvement. But it was a little long, and so you got to just watch that and edit yourself and time yourself so that you don't go over. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, next. Is that everyone? No. Okay, let's go. Next. Who's next? Who's the only one? You are?
No, I went already.
Everyone went?
There's like 2 people that aren't here today that didn't go.
Okay, good. We'll start the PCs now. Excellent. Good. Okay, good. Yeah. That's good, yeah. So what's our time? Oh, yeah, we have time for 2 PCs. Anybody want to do the PC today? Yeah.
No.
Personal commitment. I told this faker in the hall he has to do his PC on Tuesday. Whatever his name is. Anybody have theirs written? Well, what?
No.
Well, let's use this time productively. Okay. Well, let me turn off the camera before it crashes, for God's sake.